The delusion goes on. It persists further into linguistic processes, through which cultural delusions persist. The only thing relevant seems to be meaning. This is always unfound. Something of a characteristic is never really realized in its own mechanisms as a response to tentative delusions, tentative possibilities, tentative steps across a page, tentative points of being which dimension and feature are always subject to. There is some kind of hyperthesis which is always possible. It is never a dream, it is always a reality. Something relevant seems to persist beyond this. It is something syntactical, something about its own properties, something which combinations and alterations persist beyond this, further into ambiguity, further into the inanimate. There is something which grammar persists on. It is never truly realized. Certain peaks and variables are always functioning. There is something beyond this which never realizes itself. Something beyond which it never completely feels as though it is a possible reality. Something across. Something has survived. It is never completely frequented. There is always a translation between the hemisphere, a disfluency, which is never completely intrinsic. Something beyond this is a frequency unheard, a frequency unknown, some kind of voicing, some kind of possible consistency which never prevails, some kind of specific proposition, some kind of marker which is always left forgotten. This is auxiliary, of course, because the transitive always remains. There's something expressed in the certainty which never completely becomes true, something beyond which agents and causes never completely realize. There is something beyond this too, some assertion, some theory, some pattern, some function, which never completely becomes distinguished. There's a theoretical variable at always being a missed property. Some category is completely forgotten. There's something beyond this as well, some event, some past, some thing, some future. It is enforced by its own disreport. It is functioning as something which is incorporated, something which is functional, something which is designed, something which is never realized. It becomes itself only through its structure. It is independent of its own inner relation. It becomes a phenomenon as a conquest. It is never a poem. It is always a delusion.